Hey everyone! So, before we get into news this week, a big shout out to Dr. Shocks. We're, of course, continuing with our community shout outs. I actually have cleared out the entire queue, so if anyone else would like a shout out or for me to call out an upcoming project, let me know in the comments. But Dr. Shocks has been a good friend of the channel for quite a bit now. They took it upon themselves to watch every single video I have ever done on YouTube. They have commented on every single video. They have commented on every single community post. It's funny, I think at one point YouTube thought Dr. Shocks was a spam bot. Because he had gone through all of it, it got to a point where some of his comments started to get deleted automatically. And to be fair, he was looking at videos that had no views that I did 2 years ago. But a big thank you to Dr. Shocks. He has a lot of really cool reviews on his channel. He just did his Christmas roundup a few days ago, and I would very much give it a recommend. I think that if he keeps it up and keeps finding his own niche, I think he has a lot of cool insights when it comes to just being a reviewer, and he has a better idea of a lot of these Transformers that came up a little bit after my time. But continuing on now to our news, we have a few sightings this week. We are finally seeing Mix Mashers out, the Primal and the Starscream. I would like to pick up the Primal, if I can, because I do think he looks good. Past that, we have found the Smash Changer Thrash. I still think that they look kind of rough, but thank God the new Earthspark toys are going out. It makes me hopeful that, hey, there might still be that deluxe wave that's been rumored, the one with Soundwave in it. Third Party had a little bit to talk about. So DNA Design is doing a new version, a new upgrade kit for the Siege Galaxy version Optimus. This is the Cybertron Optimus, and you can see this is just sick. It almost looks like Shatterglass Ultra Magnus mixed with Sephiroth. I quite like it. There is going to be, from Defense, a Legend Scale Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. He looks incredible. I was just messing with my Planet X Vulcan while looking at these photos, and it's crazy. I think they actually capture the proportions better for Grimlock than Planet X did, and that's already one of the best Grimlocks ever, so I'm hoping this one will turn out well. And then this. So, a few people have already heard about this. I actually thought I had already covered it in a news video, but I haven't, so I'm a little bit late to the game here. W Resources is a newer third-party company. Not new, but newer. They're doing a 4-foot-tall Metroplex that's going to be $1,200. So 4 feet tall, I want to put this in perspective, right? The average American is 5'8". This thing would be coming up to their chest. You were basically buying a middle schooler in terms of size and weight. I don't want to be that guy. I'll be that guy. I hope this comes out. I think this is going to be one of those things where it's going to keep getting pushback, and then eventually never come out. Not because I think the company wants it. I think the company wants it to come out, right? But how do you even begin to ship something like this? I don't think anyone's ever actually considered the weight that this thing will have to be to support itself. And that's without getting into the fact that once you buy it, what do you do with it? You've not bought a toy, you've bought a roommate, basically. Where does it go? How do you mess with it? It's going to transform. How do you do a transformation with a thing that's nearly as big as you are? I'm interested in it. I'm never going to be grabbing this. If anything, this is the hubris of man. That's what this is. This is proof that we've gone too far. Official reveals now. We had so many cool reveals this week. But we're going to start with some real heartbreakers. Of course, Transformers Reactivate has been officially canceled. This has kind of been the feeling in the room for a long while. I think we all kind of knew that Reactivate was dead in the water, but we just now saw this, and of course, they have to mention the fact that there's going to be restructuring on a corporate level, which is code for a lot of really talented people are going to be losing their jobs very soon, so the CEOs can still get their bonus this year. Which, I've gone into my capitalism kills art argument quite a few times. I won't bore you with it again, but it sucks to see because we need new Transformers media. We need new video games or anything to get new fans into our hobby. And every time we lose something like this, I'm sorry, G1 stuff's not bringing new people in. It's just keeping the people who are already here in, which is great, but that's not growing a community. That's making sure that we're going to stay this way until we all die off. But there's more bad news. Hasbro Pulse Asia is shutting down. Now, this doesn't affect Hasbro Pulse in US markets at all. It doesn't affect Hasbro Pulse in European or Canadian markets or any other part of the globe. It's just Hasbro Pulse Asia. But there's been some rumblings that there's probably going to be more closures because, kind of the same reason why we just talked about Reactivate. We got to get those CEO bonuses, baby. So we're going to see the future of Hasbro Pulse. It looks a little bit shaky right now, but at the very least, Hasbro Pulse Asia is officially gone. But let's actually talk about some cool stuff. For one, we're going to get Masterpiece Rat Trap, and it actually tickles me that they gave him the fake belly so he can stand up. The transformation looks like it's going to be very panely, which, to be fair, Rat Trap has always been a shell former. So I think that this is going to be pretty cool. I would love to check them out because the Beast Wars Masterpiece figures have all been just absolute home runs. I think the shakiest one was Black Arachnia, and that was really just a reality of her design. She was always going to have some very, very tiny joints, and tiny joints you can only make so durable. This is sick. So, AMT, which is the Adams Machina Transformers that Takara Tomi's doing. Actually, it's Adams Machina Takara. They're doing the IDW Rodimus. They're also doing a big Predaking, which seems to be based on the Studio Ox design, but it's also kind of its own thing. This is all we've seen of it, just this one prototype photo. We don't know what the Predacons look like yet. This thing looks amazing, though. I want to see more photos. And I can't believe that, this isn't just a non-transforming figure. The proportions look so great. The thought that this is an actual combiner kind of boggles my mind. Going from something very big to something very small, we are seeing more of the Yellow Park mini series. So these are their tiny toys, very similar in scale to, say, the Aldi Transformers or the Blockies. So we already knew about some of the guys they've already done. It looks like they're going to be redoing some, like Optimus, Bumblebee, Megatron, and Starscream. Past that, they're doing Ironhide Ratchet and IDW Orion, which is a great pick because that specific design they're doing is, of course, the Thrilling 30 Orion, but it also could pass for a G1 Orion. They're doing Jazz, RC, and Cliff Jumper, which is going to be sick. And I just realized as soon as they do a Wheeljack, you're going to have the original lineup of Skybound Autobots. My one complaint here is I think Cliff is a little too big, but he looks great. I'd love to pick this one up. And then we're also going to be getting Rodimus, Hound, Prowl, IDW Bumblebee, and a movie Optimus alongside the Dark of the Moon Megatron. All of these are still the minis. So that is sick. I cannot wait to see some of these guys start to trickle out. This is kind of interesting. So we're going to have a Transformers crossover with Macross. And you can see that whatever this figure is going to be, it kind of has Optimus's chest windows. Now, I'm not going to claim to be an expert on Macross. I'm not. I'm probably not even pronouncing it correctly. But when you tell me we're doing Transformers Macross, you want to know where my mind goes? Jetfire. I'm not saying just do Jetfire, but maybe have Jetfire be your starting point? Because that is the Transformers Macross crossover. But we're still going to see. This is just a very early tease of what the figure will be. We're going to have a new bust of Nemesis Prime. This is being done by Unix. So it looks pretty interesting. I like it. It's very IDW-esque, especially with the grill kind of abs. And then from Cyberworld, this is going to be Mega Bull. Cyberworld is going to be the new cartoon coming up. Mega Bull looks interesting. At the very least, he looks like he's on par with the Earthspark Warriors. I'm curious about his articulation because it looks like he might have elbows, but I can't really tell. When he's in beast form, I don't think he does. But then I look at the robot mode and I can see where there might be a cut for articulation. This is a very early prototype. I don't really think there's any connection to any previous character. I don't know if Mega Bull might have been like a Beast Wars 2 homage. I know that Buffalo Dump is a thing. I don't think that this is supposed to be a Buffalo Dump homage at all. Well, Buffalo Dump wasn't even a buffalo. He was like a big truck, right? In any case, I'm really interested to see how this turns out. And I think that's the end. That's the end. So, this was a pretty big week for reveals. After quite a few weeks where I kind of had to say, like, hey guys, yeah, there wasn't much to talk about, but at least this time there was some meat on the bones. We talked about a ridiculous Metroplex, a massive Predaking, some cool minis, our first look at what the new cartoon toy line is going to be. I'm really interested in a lot of the stuff that we had to talk about this week. And of course, it can't be an episode of the news without talking about some horrible real-world stuff. Again, my condolences go out to anyone and everyone negatively affected by the cancellation of either Transformers Reactivate or Hasbro Pulse Asia. A lot of really talented people are probably going to be losing their jobs. And it's nothing that they did. It's not in their control. It's just, the way of the world, as it were. But let's try to keep our chins up. We got good things to look forward to. And keep your eyes out for a pretty big announcement this week. I think it's about time that we look into that Discord. But I'm going to talk more about that in just a few days. Alongside that, Many Toys of Barricade will be re-uploaded on Wednesday, before on Friday we go over the Many Toys of Ape Link. Big week for the channel, and on that note, guys, let's see what we get up to next time.